3 days ago, I celebrated my 15th birthday, but things definitely took an unexpected turn. On the morning of my birthday, my parents came to me, beaming, and announced they had a surprise birthday treat for me, a family trip to a resort. I was thrilled. As the less favored younger sibling, I don't usually get this kind of attention, so I was genuinely happy. However, a couple of hours later, after I had packed my bags and came downstairs ready to leave with my family, I found my parents were already gone. Only my older sister, Chloe, 17, was there waiting for me. She is the golden child, the one who can always twist our parents around her little finger. This time was no different. She looked way too pleased with herself, and I instantly knew something was off. When I asked her what was going on, she casually told me I didn't need to pack and could go unpack my bags. At first I thought the trip was canceled altogether, but then she informed me that there would be no family vacation for me. She handed me a piece of paper with a list of chores on it. I was completely bewildered. She then explained that she had discussed it with our parents, and she thought that since my finals were coming up in a couple of weeks, it would be much better for me to stay home and study. Of course, she still got to go because she has already done everything. If I got bored without my family while they were on vacation, I could start on the chores she'd listed. She actually laughed and told me I should be thanking her because she was giving me study time instead of letting me waste time frolicking with my family. I was so hurt and speechless. I could only manage to ask where our parents were. She smugly told me that she had sent them to the airport already and stayed behind just to deliver this birthday gift to me in person. She said my parents wanted to tell me themselves but couldn't bring themselves to. Break my heart. Apparently, Chloe had brought up my finals right after they announced the trip, and they agreed it was for the best. They had Chloe tell me because they were too cowardly to do it themselves, and I knew Chloe was absolutely relishing the chance to humiliate me. I fought back tears in front of her and went back upstairs with my bags. I waited until I heard the front door close, and then I completely broke down and cried for a solid hour. Chloe has always disliked me, and I've always known my parents will do whatever she says without question because, to them, her word is gospel. But I never imagined they would do something so cruel and humiliating to me, especially on my birthday. Chloe and I have had fights before, and my parents always take her side, but this was a new low. That morning, after my parents told me about the surprise trip, I even texted my friends that I couldn't hang out in the evening as planned. Even they were surprised my parents had arranged something like that for me. I guess some things really are too good to be true. I was still furious after I stopped crying. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. So I decided to do something I knew would infuriate my parents and Chloe to get back at them. Since I was home alone, I went into my dad's office and used the phone to call all the important contacts I found on his laptop. I invited them to a party that evening, saying it was a surprise anniversary party for my parents. I knew it was last minute, but I told everyone I would be really grateful if they could come. Being just a kid, most of his business associates agreed to attend this party I was supposedly throwing. I did the same with my mother's contacts. Neither of them had password-protected their devices, making my plan incredibly easy. Then, I texted Chloe's boyfriend on social media and invited him too. I also invited my own friends to help me decorate the house to look like a party was actually happening. Finally, around 7 p.m., the guests I'd invited started arriving. They were really confused to see my parents weren't there. I kept telling them it was a surprise for later. Once all the guests had arrived and I had taken a group photo with everyone, I put my plan into action. I told them exactly where my parents were and explained how I had been treated. I told them how my parents always favored Chloe and treated her word as law, and how I felt like Cinderella, but had never spoken up until now. I recounted the birthday morning fiasco and how my parents had abandoned me without even explaining things in person, all because Chloe thought it was the right thing to do. I could see that many people were genuinely shocked. My parents put on a really good act of being nice and decent people in public, but as I told them, good people don't do this to their own children. After I finished explaining everything, I told them that this was exactly why I had thrown the party, to expose my parents and my sister. To really drive the point home, I even showed them the chore list Chloe had left for me. I noticed Chloe's boyfriend, who was standing in a corner, looking completely stunned, probably realizing his girlfriend had a cruel streak he hadn't seen before. Everyone was silent after I spoke. Eventually, people started to realize there was no point in staying, so some left quietly, and some came up to me to offer a few words of comfort before leaving. The only thing I felt a little bad about was that I had wasted their time, but not really. Once they were all gone, I sent the group photo we'd taken to my parents and sister with the caption, "Had some guests over for my birthday party today? Guess I'll get started on that chore list Chloe left me." It was perfect. They responded within seconds, telling me to fix whatever I had done right now, and that they were coming home on the next flight. I immediately blocked all of them and went to my best friend, Maya's house with my bags, because I knew that wasn't my home anymore. Maya and her parents are truly wonderful people who always told me their door was always open for me. I decided to finally take them up on their offer and move in. I didn't know how long they'd be able to support me, but in the meantime, they were all I had, and I am incredibly grateful to them for opening their home so generously. The very next day, on what should have been the continuation of my birthday celebration, my parents came to see me at Maya's house. I guess no one was surprised I had chosen to stay with Maya, because they knew we'd been best friends since we were little. When they arrived, Maya's parents refused to let them in, saying they had no business trying to talk to me when I had made it clear I didn't want to speak to them. My parents started threatening legal action against Maya's parents, and I got a little scared, so I told Maya's parents to let them in, and I would talk to them. They were furious with me and said that no matter what they had done, I had no right to involve their business associates because now their reputation was ruined. None of their colleagues or associates were even willing to speak to them anymore. Some had even blocked my parents' numbers. They were blaming me for all of this, which, I guess, is fair because I did orchestrate the whole thing. But I also told them that if they had just shown me a little kindness and not utterly humiliated me on my birthday, I wouldn't have done any of this. I ended up yelling at them about always treating me badly compared to Chloe, saying that she, along with them, had ruined my life, and I would never forgive them. Things got really heated, and we were all shouting so much that Maya's parents had to step in, and Maya had to take me out of the room to calm me down. When I finally calmed down, her parents came to me and said my parents had left, and that they would make sure they never got to speak to me again until I was ready. Then they suggested I should seriously consider legal options like living independently because it had become increasingly clear they didn't care about me at all, and it was time I cut them out of my life for good. After discussing it with Maya's parents, I decided to talk to a lawyer, and I started looking into living independently. I'm still very uncertain about it because it's a huge decision, and I don't want to regret anything, but honestly, given how things are going, I don't think I will. The following day, against my wishes, my parents had contacted me again. They sent me an email the previous night. I recognized the address as theirs, so I tried not to open it, but curiosity got the better of me, and I read it. They started by saying the reason they even surprised me with the trip was because one of my father's clients had opened a new spa and resort, and this was a perk for my dad and the family. He just decided to use this opportunity around my birthday. But when Chloe brought up my finals, they didn't want my grades to slip just because I took a vacation a couple of weeks before exams. They said they couldn't believe I had misconstrued this as something negative and tried to get revenge on them for it. It made them feel like they had failed as parents. Chloe, they wrote, was also upset and only wanted to be a good, concerned big sister to me, so there was no need for me to overreact. It was all nonsense, and I almost stopped reading halfway through, but the rest was about how upset they were that I had involved other people in our family drama and aired our dirty laundry in public. They said this was something they never wanted or expected. Regardless of our fights, they claimed I had never come to them directly to tell them about my issues, so they never had a chance to fix things. They said if I had just spoken to them and discussed my feelings, they might have been able to make things right. Instead, I had taken such a drastic step. They conceded that the chore list Chloe left was a tad much. But even then, I should have called them and told them I felt left out, and they would have come back immediately if they knew I was feeling neglected. However, they said the way I chose to handle the situation was unexpected, and they felt bad because they genuinely didn't want to hurt me. And this was just an unfortunate misunderstanding blown out of proportion. They want me to talk to them and sort things out. But I don't know what I want to do right now. I have very mixed feelings. I decided I'm not going to apologize. I blocked the email address they sent that email from, so they can't contact me that way again. I've made up my mind. Whatever they try to say, I'm not going to respond or even read it. It's just not worth it and would only mess with my head more. As for living independently, I've decided to go through with it. It's a huge deal, and I know I'm still young, but Maya and her parents have reassured me that they'll be by my side no matter what, and I have nothing to worry about. They even said they can legally adopt me if that would make me feel less nervous, and I think it might. But I haven't thought about that too much yet. Right now, we're focusing on me living independently. We've spoken to a lawyer, and the paperwork is being processed. I truly don't know how my parents will react to it because, from that email, I could tell they were not happy about me living with Maya and her parents, which doesn't make sense because from how they've treated me my whole life, it's obvious they don't want me that much. At least not as much as they want Chloe around. Yet they're still trying to reach out, which is confusing. I have a feeling they only wanted to get me back to fix their reputation and image, nothing else. I'm just very confused at the moment. Right now, all I can do is wait for them to receive the paperwork and see how they react. It's been a couple of days since my post, and they haven't tried to contact me again after that email, so I don't know what they're feeling. I know things can't be good for them either because there were a lot of people at that party, and I've heard that Chloe and her boyfriend broke up. Nobody knows the reason except me, of course. A couple of days later, my parents were finally served with the legal paperwork for me to live independently, and they were not happy, which was quite surprising to me. They called Maya's parents, and there was a huge fight. Apparently, they believed Maya and her parents had put me up to this and were controlling me. They didn't think I was doing this of my own will, which is ridiculous. Do they even realize how badly they've treated me in the past? Of course, I'm doing this of my own free will. No one had to force me to think twice. I had kind of anticipated this reaction after my last action because they only wanted me back to show everyone we were a happy family. And whatever I said at the party was just me being bratty. But I didn't go back, and that really pissed them off. They can't handle the fact that I'm finally standing up to them. That's too bad, because it's happening. They can call Maya's parents names all they want, but it won't change the fact that they deserve this. They don't deserve to be my parents, and now I'm finally going to be free from them. I couldn't overhear much, but Maya told me my parents had called her parents every name in the book and said they were going to fight them and take this to court if necessary because they had no right to. Put me up to all this nonsense, and they wouldn't tolerate it? They were pretty angry and even threatened to hurt them, which I think is insane. I hope they realize that's illegal and just makes them look worse. The way they spoke about me to Maya's parents just confirmed what I already knew about them. They didn't want me back because they loved me as a daughter, but because they wanted to fix their image. They think Maya's parents are trying to ruin their reputation by acting like my saviors and showing the world I was mistreated at home, which is why I came to them. They are not going to allow it to happen. Apparently they were yelling on the phone about how I was an entitled, spoiled brat, and the fact that Maya's parents were supporting it only meant they were not fit to be parents. I'm pretty sure if they actually loved me like a daughter, they would be more concerned about my well-being and try to talk to me rather than yell at Maya's parents and imply they are trying to ruin my parents' reputation. Maya's parents haven't known my parents for long. They've only known each other through us. There's no reason for them to be competing. It's not like there's any competition anyway, since Maya's parents are much more successful and kinder. But my parents are so obsessed with their image that they think Maya's parents are just like them, incapable of caring about me, and just trying to pull them down. Maya and her parents have strictly told me not to reach out, no matter how tempted I feel, because it's not worth it. I know they recorded the phone call with my parents a couple of days ago. After fighting with them on the phone and only giving me the necessary details, they told me they recorded it and my parents were really stupid, because they can use it as evidence for why I deserve to live independently. They also asked me to think about whether I wanted them to legally adopt me or not, and I said yes. Not just to piss off my parents, though that's a bonus, but mostly because I genuinely feel they are kind-hearted and lovely people, and having Maya as my sister will be amazing. I'm all in. They said they'll speak to the lawyer again to start adoption paperwork as well, since it might help with my case to live independently, knowing I have better people to live with and rely on. Honestly, things just keep getting better, and I couldn't be more grateful. However, the good times were abruptly interrupted. Just a short time later, something terrible happened. Long story short, Chloe beat me up after school. My last class, English, was in the East Wing. When I got out, she and a bunch of her friends literally cornered me. I'm unfortunately always the last to leave class because I'm slow at packing up. By the time I left, most people were gone. When I saw Chloe and her friends standing outside, I felt intimidated, but I didn't show it because that's what they wanted. As I left the classroom, they got in my face and said I wasn't allowed to leave. They made everyone else still hanging around leave and told me they had scores to settle. I tried to stay calm and keep my fear hidden, but they didn't care. Chloe grabbed my arm and dragged me outside while I yelled at her to let go. Everyone else was loud too, so nobody heard me. They took me to the janitor's closet, shoved me inside, and locked the door from the outside. I kept banging on the door, but they were standing guard, and even if people heard me, they probably wouldn't dare to do anything because Chloe and her friends are in senior classes and have a nasty reputation. After keeping me locked in for about 5 minutes, Chloe let me out. By then, pretty much everyone in that wing of the school had left. It was just me against them. That's when the first slap landed on my face. She started screaming at me, calling me selfish and ungrateful to our parents. Then, the real reason for her anger came out. She accused me of being the reason her boyfriend broke up with her. Then, she slammed my head against the concrete. I started feeling really dizzy, and she took advantage of it, just kept punching me with her fists while her friends watched and laughed. It was incredibly painful, and I tried to defend myself, but Chloe is several inches taller and much heavier. There wasn't much I could do. At one point, I just cowered against the wall, and she still kept hitting me. Once she was satisfied. She kicked me one last time, and then she and her friends left while I cried against the wall. About 15 minutes later, Maya finally found me sitting on the floor, crying. When I told her what happened, she helped me up. Instead of walking home, we took a cab, because I was in no condition to walk. Once home, we told her parents everything. They looked grim and contacted the school, and then the police immediately. It's only been an hour, and they've been on the phone ever since. They're busy, but Maya is taking care of me. I'm pretty banged up. Bruises are starting to show, and everything hurts, but I know Chloe will get her karma for this, and soon. Thankfully, last week, the school stood up for me and shared security footage from that wing with the police, so it was easy to charge her with misdemeanor. Chloe got community service as punishment, but the best part is she got suspended for 6 weeks. That means she won't be able to go to prom, which she was really looking forward to. She also won't be able to take her finals with her class. She'll have to take them separately, meaning she can't cheat. And in an unexpected turn of events following the whole Chloe debacle, my parents decided to give up their parental rights. Yes, they terminated their parental rights, The paperwork was signed, and everything. I'm finally free. And Maya's parents are in the process of legally adopting me. I couldn't be more grateful to them. My parents said that after everything, they don't want me in their family anymore. I know they'll try to make it seem like I'm the one at fault, but I don't think anyone will believe that. They can try their best. It doesn't matter to me anymore. To be honest, I'm finally part of a happy family now, and I can vouch for the fact that my new sister and parents are going to be far better than the ones I originally had. I really can't believe things are finally working out for me. I'm probably the happiest I've been in a long time. So happy, I actually forgot about my finals coming up. But now, Maya and I are going to buckle down, and we're going to show everyone what I'm capable of.